Get ready!
So Blur was a thing. I'm sure everyone who's ever lived has asked the vital question, what if Mario Kart was real? It's as important as asking what is the sound of one hand clapping. I don't mean just driving go-karts while in cosplay, I'm talking about taking the main thing kart racers are known for and putting that in a realistic setting. Fortunately, the lovely developers at the unfortunately now defunct Bizarre Creations, Requiescat and Pache, gave the world its answer in 2010 with Blur, and it's a pretty good answer, I can tell you that much. I'm not gonna sit here alone at 9 in the afternoon saying I'm some top-tier aficionado at racing games, unless it's Sega All-Stars Racing, but I do enjoy them. More on the arcadey side than simulation, but I'm willing to give pretty much any game a fair try if there is something interesting about it. As you might have guessed, the interesting thing about Blur is its inclusion of kart racer-styled power-ups in a realistic racing game. I think there's some kind of plot going on, maybe, but I might have to get back to you on that. I'm not getting back to you on that, just wanted to clear that up real quickly. What really matters is racing, and the racing it's pretty solid. You got a bunch of licensed cars to blow up and crash, varied locations to blow them up and crash them on, really great graphics to show off when they blow up and crash, and you're going to see a lot of stuff blowing up and crashing, because that's what makes it fun. But during the times when you aren't blowing things up, you're still going super fast and trying not to crash into walls, because while it's fun to see other things blow up and crash, it's not so much fun when you're trying to win a race. The game is separated between several different main opponents you unlock after fulfilling certain criteria in other challenges. These can be normal races, checkpoint races, shooty pew pew missions, the works. When you finish a challenge, you earn 3 to 5 lights, and up to 2 bonus ones if you reach a fan goal or complete a fan run. Basically, a short checkpoint challenge, which for some reason also appear in checkpoint races, I think. It seems a bit redundant, but whatever. Once you reach enough fans, you unlock new cars, and lights unlock more rivals to challenge. It's all pretty straightforward. Of course, what would a racing game be without good controls? Well, I mean it would be Hooters Road Trip, but that's something else, let's not talk about that. Long story short, the racing controls are pretty good. Tight and responsive, so you know it's totally your fault when you mess up and turn and crash into a wall. And then everyone who was behind you gets ahead of you in like a second, and you drop to last place because you're a loser. In all honesty, the vroom vrooms are pretty much what you'd expect from any decent racing game of the time. The thing that makes Blur really unique is, again, the power-up system. It's all pretty standard stuff, shooting weak lasers, powerful tracking shots, speed boost, mines, the whole shebang, which all look gorgeous, by the way. Just look at those shiny streaks of destruction. These power-ups mean there's a heavy emphasis on car combat, requiring you to go all neon Mad Max on everyone to make sure you come out on top. You can grab up to 3 at once and switch between them, so you're never stuck with a lame power-up you can't or don't want to use. Considering how frequent these pickups are, how many participate in a race, the tracks themselves, and your own health bar, there's a lot to keep track of, but it's pretty manageable without much practice. Now for the one thing that annoys me, just out of personal preference, so it's not really a big deal, it's just a thing for me. The drifting and turning in general is kind of extreme. Not like extreme as in 90s extreme where, you know, you're screaming while falling off a cliff, doing a kickflip on a skateboard. Like I said, the controls are great, but the physics and handling themselves feel a bit too simulation-y in my opinion. Most cars have basically no chance at making most turns cleanly without slowing down to like half the speed, or spinning out on a drift, which I don't think works for most car types. When I said that they were extreme in turning controls, I meant in the sense that you can either turn a car very well or very poorly. It's just, there's not really much in between, at least not that I found. I decided to stick to drifty cars since they were just my personal style, which means I use the Pinch Bug a lot, which is awesome because that's the only real car I actually like. Again, this complaint is really just personal preference, since I think looser drifting would have made this game a lot more fun than it already is. It would have maintained the pace at high speeds. Could you imagine if this game had physics similar to Burnout? Like that'd be crazy. That'd be awesome. Blur is a good example of what you see is what you get. It's a solid racing game with great controls, a wide variety of cars and tracks, fun power-ups, and lots of content to play through. So, what happened? Why is it so obscure now? Well, I think it all just came down to bad timing, really. It released around the same time as Mod Nation Racers and Split Second, and that was just for racing titles. Since it couldn't find a commercial audience, Activision shut them down after their next game, which was a James Bond license. Bizarre Creations was actually making a new engine for a sequel, but they went under before they could really get started. Again, requiescat in pace. So yeah, Blur was a thing. It was a very good thing that I recommend. That is all. Have a nice day.